The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2025 early summer edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. In every episode, we dive into captivating conversations with Syracuse's movers and shakers, like business owners and top executives, entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, and a bunch more. So brace yourself for jaw-dropping business insights and success stories. The Local Show shines the light on the business visionaries, turning Syracuse into the ultimate hub for work, life, and road work, and some new opportunities. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, brought to you by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement. And you can see us on YouTube. Just look up that Zoe Advertising. Steve Roberts is here to bring you all the fun and frivolity that you can handle the next couple of hours.
How about that road work, Tom?
That's incredible, huh?
talking to my mom last week, because she still drives at almost 92. So she says, "Oh, I got off that 29 exit." She goes, "But I kind of, there's the ramp and the flyover." She goes, "I ended up in Cicero," which is even worse, right?
Yeah.
With all that traffic there. It was kind of funny, but it is first time. It is a little confusing because it's way different than what we've experienced for the last zillion years.
And with that, the show begins. Yes, let's talk with Gideon Skinner right now. He's the owner of Skinner Fence. How are you there, Gideon?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me back on.
Well, thank you. It's been tough dodging raindrops. I know that my grass got really tall. Then it took me forever to chop it down. Yeah. I couldn't work on my mounds, and that's just homeowner stuff. But for you, who does things for a living,
it's been a lot. We've been trying to tell people, nobody wants to put your fence in more than the fence company.
Right.
And we are trying our absolute hardest.
Yeah.
But it looks like we got some sunny days up ahead. We're getting into the summer, and we're excited to just crank fences up.
I mean, you have to wear some sort of a mask to save yourself from the wildfire smoke. Other than that, it's okay.
Other than that,
how soft is too soft? Because you drive piles in, and I know you do it differently than most folks. Is it?
Yeah.
And you don't want to drive a vehicle on a lawn, especially when it's squishy.
Yeah. So we kind of have different machines to adapt to everything. So we have our just handhelds. We have our handhelds attached to mini skids. Depending on the terrain, there's a lot of areas, and we're kind of geo-mapping Syracuse now, which nobody's done, for how dense the ground is in different areas.
Really?
So what we're capable of and what machines are required to drive posts in different areas of the city.
Is that a software program, or did you make something yourself?
Yeah, I'm making something myself.
So longhand. So you know how to respond. That's really interesting.
Yeah, so everybody else, they dig, they use augers, that's fine. It's still going to be a pain, but I'm going through and trying to map out what areas have the most rock, what areas are going to be the most dense in clay, what areas can we drive in the easiest, and what are going to be a little bit harder for us. And we try to provide the most value to everybody and explain that to them, that your project might be a little more difficult, or the person who's in sand, it might be North Syracuse area, and we can drive those posts in with the smallest, lightest machine we have and do it very quickly.
Since you don't anchor things with cement, how do you keep the fence from shifting?
So when we're replacing volume with depth. So your typical fence is going to be 24 to 30 inches deep in concrete. If you take a steel post and you drive that 4 feet deep in the ground, you got to move 4 feet of earth before that fence is going to move.
So that's considerably deeper than the people who use
considerably deeper.
Okay.
Yeah. The same thing they use to handle those guardrails and keep those vehicles on the bridges is the same thing we use to keep your fence up.
Nice. Right. So is the ground in clay? Clay?
It is in fact clay. I think the ground in Syracuse is just clay.
Really? So that's a lot of the makeup, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. You go down south of Syracuse, though, you get Onondaga Hill, Split Rock, Manlius. That's
limestone?
All limestone.
Yes.
Yeah, you got a lot of rock there. And that's been very difficult for us.
Any products more popular this year than maybe previous years? Are people like going, I really want bamboo, or is there anything that's like become popular?
Yeah, we're noticing some. They're going more into the wood grain vinyl than they used to. A lot of it originally was your standard vinyl, maybe a gray and white or a tan vinyl. You get some of those options. We're getting more people now that want the wood looking vinyl. So we offer.
I didn't know they had that.
So we have a gold. We have a gold wood grain. We have a dark wood grain, and it resembles that nice green look of a wood fence with zero maintenance you get out of the vinyl.
Do most fences have a gateway? Is there always a gate to get in, or do some people
I would assume,
seal?
Unless it's an enclosed cage. No, we always do a gate. That's a primary focus for us with our clients, is explaining to them, what do you need to get into the back? Where do your gates need to be? I would hate to put a fence up for somebody and then have them kick themselves a year later and say, I wish I had a gate here so I don't walk all the way around my house.
Right. So once you start, how long does it take? So let's say someone says, hey, we're going to get a fence, and you book it a few weeks out, it stops raining, and it's in there. How long before the neighbors go, hey, I think they're getting a fence over there, and they see you on site?
Yeah. Typically, weather, obviously, as long as the weather's working with us, we're in and out of a project in a day, 2 days max. They're pretty quick projects. I'd say your standard residential job, when we're not getting rained out like we have this whole spring, because it's been great. We're in and out in a day. They come in, they have that old fence removed within an hour. They have all your posts in about 2 hours. They're already assembling. So by 2 o'clock, they've already assembled the majority of the fence. 3 o'clock, they're hanging gates. 4 o'clock, they're cleaning up.
Quickly, talk about how you do it differently.
So we decided to really focus in on what the big flaws are with a traditional fence system. And when we went through it, we found out that driving a commercial grade steel post 4 feet in the ground and then building a fence on top of that is much more versatile and a lot stronger. You don't have to deal with the failure of concrete. You don't have to deal with a rotting wood post. You could replace the wood on one of our wood fences 3 times before your posts ever see anywhere.
And I know you've said before, these things go pretty effectively, pretty efficiently, and sometimes people can save some money because you don't have to do all that.
Absolutely.
Gideon Skinner, you can see him here on YouTube, but he's also, that face is on that billboard on 690. People are like, hey, I know that guy. Right? Can reach you at 217-1125, correct? Area code 315-217-1125 and skinnerfence.com. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.